Hi, I'm Jim Gaffigan, and we are here at the TheWrap studios, and I'm talking to probably one of the most important people in the entertainment industry, Beatrice.
True.
Verhoeven, Van Helsing,
That's it.
Dutch, ride your bike to school, but actually Belgian, but probably German. Wiener Schnitzel
Yes.
is your last name. Thank God we can still make fun of the Germans. Anyway, thank you for having me.
Welcome, welcome. So yeah, we're gonna talk American Dreamer. So yeah, tell us a little bit about the movie, what it's about, and how you got involved.
American Dreamer is a script that was co-written by the director, Derek Bort, and I play a rideshare driver, a guy who has pretty much down on his luck, is not really doing well even in the rideshare game, but he ends up driving around a drug dealer, and then there's a lot of questionable bad decisions.
And I also thought it was interesting, American Dreamer, the title, obviously it's all about the American dream, like unemployment, there's elements of, paying child support, mental health, all that stuff. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah. Also, like the capitalism, the gig economy, is it realistic? His approach to fixing things is very kind of a quick fix American kind of thing, but also his anger, Cam's anger, is surrounded by, he thinks he's entitled to things and he doesn't want to take accountability, which is something I think every man struggles with that.
Right.
Because we're gorillas. We're just animals, men. I feel like women know how to be civilized, and men, we're just kind of like pretending.
Your character at the beginning, you are having this conversation with your passenger who isn't listening, right?
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, what kind of passenger are you? Are you the kind of person that likes to talk to your driver, or you're like headphones in, no conversation?
I used to always assume they didn't want to talk,
Right.
but that just treating someone with compassion, it's just, it costs you nothing. Do you know what I mean? And so the fact, and that sets something up very early about this gig economy that, this person driving an Uber or a Lyft has dreams, and maybe they don't want to talk, but like it would be nice to greet them with some warmth.
My last question I kind of wanted to finish with is, what was the hardest scene, whether it was mentally or physically for you? Which one was the hardest to shoot in this movie?
There is something that Cam, that comes up that is very dramatic, that is the consequence of his actions. Mm-hmm. So that was emotionally, from an acting standpoint, that was one of those. And it's interesting on an indie film, there's no trailers. So you're like, I'm gonna go and stand over here and just kind of think about what I'm about to discover. But everyone got it. I think also there is a scene where Isabel, who's playing the role of Marina, is in the backseat, and I kind of grab her in a very violent way, and that was one of those where it's like you want to be authentic, but you also you're like, this is somebody, and like she had just gotten out of Juilliard, like I don't know, 6 months ago, and there's this guy just grabbing her. So that's one of those. It was difficult for different reasons, because you don't want, because you're creating, even though it's acting, you're creating trauma on someone. And so no matter how much you talk about it and talk about it afterwards, and she's mentally prepared, it's still a piece of violence that you're creating.
Exactly. Yeah, I actually didn't think about that. That's a good point. I never really think about those kind of violent moments in movies and how it actually could affect everyone.
And and that was in the same night where 5 other violent things happened to her. And so I was very mindful of like, wow, there's one thing, like I typically play someone who is flawed or vulnerable, and the consequences of that are maybe people on the cast are like, they kind of unconsciously think that I am the character. Like, that guy's a jerk. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I'm just playing a guy who's doing that. But when you're someone who is physically even though there is a stunned person, there's that the trauma of that situation that you kind of endure, and it's a compliment to the director and the producer and everybody involved. It was not thrown together. It was very well thought out.
As it has to be in situations
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm
to
not
talk about
leaving.
American Dreamer. Okay, well,
It's not over, Beatrice.
I thought it was Beatrix. You can't just switch
It
egos
depends.
for me.
It depends. Is this for Belgian TV or? That's a wrap. That's a wrap.